Katrina hit the Gulf Coast 20 years ago today, drawing a massive government response to one of the worst natural disasters in U.S. history. The work of the U.S. Coast Guard saved the lives of more than 30,000 people. News 2's chief photographer Charles Jones and I have been working together for a while now, shooting Two on Your Side, and his dad lived through those moments that you see there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was 6 years old. My sister was 5 when Katrina hit, and so all we really knew then was that, Dad had to go to New Orleans to work for a few weeks. But 20 years later, I finally got the chance to sit down and talk with him man on man about his experience. This is my dad, Heath Jones. And for Dad, mornings are a lot more relaxed than they have been in a long time.
We gonna get some smiles this morning?
We retired after it'll be 30 years and 2 months in the U.S. Coast Guard.
Pretty good, pretty good. This is me at the SSD. I'm staying back for the young'un to be born.
My dad joined the Coast Guard in 1995, and after numerous tours across the United States, retired as the 14th Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard, the highest-ranked enlisted member in the service.
Now, Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard, retired, departing.
I've been in South Louisiana since 2016, when I started at LSU. My wife, Catherine, born and raised in Houma. Now, we've all made our way to the New Orleans area, a homecoming for my dad.
Yeah, born here in Baton Rouge at Women's Hospital, raised in Covington, and yeah, it's home.
My dad faced numerous challenges during his 30-year career, from the September 11th terrorist attacks.
All available boats. This is the United States Coast Guard. Anyone want to help with the evacuation of Lower Manhattan? Report to Governor's Island.
To the Deepwater Horizon explosion. But one event defined his career and the lives of millions in South Louisiana.
And welcome back to our continuing coverage of Hurricane Katrina on WBRZ.
Hurricane Katrina made landfall on August 29, 2005, ravaging the Gulf Coast. A storm that hit close to home for my family, even when we weren't.
Yeah, so I was the executive petty officer at the Coast Guard Station Little Creek, which is in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
But it didn't take long for the Coast Guard to mobilize, sending teams from all over the country to assist with rescues, meaning Dad had to leave us and charge into the storm.
Because I was from New Orleans and knew the area and been stationed here in the past, they sent me to lead that team.
Dad and his team mobilized the night the storm hit, arriving in New Orleans the next day.
It was a gut punch. It was not a city that we recognized. I know the city very well driving, and I know the waterways around the city very well on a boat. Now overlay the two, and now you're trying to operate a boat in the middle of neighborhoods.
Dad helps to orchestrate and perform rescue missions across New Orleans for 6 weeks, a time that has stuck with him ever since.
It was a really surreal feeling.
It was here, Coast Guard Station New Orleans, in the heart of Bucktown, right on the shores of Lake Pontchartrain, where my dad and the hundreds of men and women of the U.S. Coast Guard based operations out of for Hurricane Katrina. And just across the levee from the station is Bucktown, one of the largest residential areas in Jefferson Parish, with hundreds of businesses, restaurants, and homes, all of which were flooded when the levees broke.
To walk right up over the levee on the 17th Street Canal there and see nothing but rooftops, because all that was underwater, and know that half the crew there, those were their houses. And to watch their ability to put that behind them and focus on getting 30,000 people out of the city, it was inspirational every single day.
The Coast Guard used a variety of different vehicles to rescue residents throughout Orleans and surrounding parishes, from small boats navigating through neighborhoods, helicopters performing rooftop rescues, and 41-footers and larger along the Mississippi River to help get residents out of the floodwaters and up the river to the capital city.
They were getting people from Algiers, loading them onto barges, and then barges where those folks were being shipped up here to Baton Rouge.
Despite all the horrors associated with Katrina, Dad remembers most the kindness of strangers.
Yeah, I mean, you saw some god-awful things, and I'll kind of keep those to myself, but you know what you did see was the human spirit. That was cool. You could see people that had never met, but people coming together.
In the bravery of the Sentinels of the Coast Guard.
It reaffirmed how amazing our Coast Guard men and women are. There's not a challenge you can throw our folks that they can't figure out how to get it done. And I knew that, but it just cemented that.
But most of all, he remembers us, his family, and not being able to talk to us often.
I'm one of those folks that can't live without his family, so it's tough. And the toughest part was when we could. It was maybe 2 minutes.
Dad says the lessons learned from one of the worst natural disasters in U.S. history will stay with him forever.
At the end of the day, the things that are left behind in a storm, if we get out of harm's way, it's stuff. And maybe now that I'm a grandfather and I'm getting old and emotional, but stuff can be replaced. People can't.
It was such a pleasure meeting your dad. How's he enjoying retirement?
He's loving it. He told us shortly after we stopped recording that, he was put on this earth to be a grandfather. And so I know he's at his happiest when he has my daughter on one hip and my niece on the other. So he's loving it.
Lots of memories to make. Charles
Absolutely.
Jones, thanks for sharing that with us.